Hi, my name is Sammy, and that's too many notes.
And I'm Caleb, and
this is Music House. I mean, Junk House.
It's a psychobilly freakout!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
Junk House. It's just me
Hello.
and Caleb again.
our Father has left us.
He's gone.
He's gone, and you know what? Good riddance until next week.
Until next week, unless he can't record again, and then
And then the
2
week
weeks.
after.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be fun to let the audience in a little bit on
Okay.
our on what's going on specifically with my camera background of choice.
Yeah. With
So,
the studio presence.
yeah, the studio presence. The feeling in the studio today is
Hot.
intentionally weird and intentionally hot,
Sexy.
sexual, lots of sex.
Lots of fucking.
I don't know
Not really, I'm
when
sorry.
this bit started for me, but I have had this running joke in this server that whenever I turn on a video background for the Discord call, it is very tame. Let's be honest about it. Tame versions of Garfield porn.
Yeah. I think it all started forever ago when we were recording Nat Wonderful. And then, like, multiple people were just changing their backgrounds that could. And I think me and you both were like, we're going to do Rule 34.
Yeah, I think that was it. And I think it started, it started as...
Did it start as...
Yes.
No,
No,
didn't. Never mind.
it started because my original background that I did was because I had a whole bit planned where I was going to talk about you guys in your walk with Jesus Christ.
Oh.
And so I had a bunch of Rule 34 furry Jesus, because that's a thing.
Furry Jesus?
Yeah, no, yeah. There is a furry version of Jesus, and he is concerned about your walk with Christ.
Oh my God.
And then that led to Garfield Jesus, which then led to Rule 34 Garfield.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say it started with Cussy, but that was like the first episode of this podcast, so.
Yeah, Cussy was
long
pretty
before
early.
this.
Because I'm about to change my background to the furry Jesus.
Yeah, now, before the furry Jesus, it was Trisha Paytas as Garfield.
It was Trisha Paytas Garfield, yes.
It was disgusting. But
it was horrible.
I see this. Jesus is a lion. Is that another lion as an angel?
That's another lion as an angel and a small boy lion receiving the blessing of Christ. Now, this is completely SFW if you're okay with furries. So
this we might ship out with the tweet.
Yeah, this one I'll send to Sammy privately and we'll ship it out because it is good, or publicly. Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, this week is brought to you by Garfield Rule 34. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast.
So much.
You can use our code, which you can only access by tweeting directly at Barack Obama.
Yeah, you have to say, please give me that Jadussi.
Yeah, tweet at Obama and say, please show me the Garfield Dussy, and he will give you the code to receive a lifetime subscription to GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly Magazine.
Garfield Quarterly Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to tell him Junk House sent you, or we won't get those residuals.
Yeah, and we get 5 cents per.
We get 5 bananas.
Cents. Oh, 5 bananas.
Each click. It's not a really good deal.
I hate bananas. It's not good. I don't like bananas. So they're And like, is it true? I've heard that there's like certain. Sorry, this is like Caleb's Curiosity Corner. Welcome to
That's
Caleb's
fine.
Curiosity Corner, where
Welcome
he
back.
asks Sammy stuff. Is it true that when you're like transitioning, that there are certain foods you can't eat because it counteracts like hormone therapy?
From my understanding, at least to the point that I got, which was only like 6 months in before I had to quit for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
No, there might.
Okay.
I was just at the point where I was taking medication though. I wasn't at the injection part yet. There might be stuff once I
Got
get into
it.
the more heavy estrogens that would
Yeah.
stop, or I need to
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But was
Huh.
like bananas one of those that you had like heard before?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm Googling.
I don't doubt that this is a thing. That makes sense that there would be some dietary restrictions later
I'm
down the road.
Googling foods you can't eat on estrogen. And the first thing that came up was a how to be an alpha male link of
Cool.
anti-estrogen diet for men, which wow.
Yeah. That's like soy boy has gained a new term because there's estrogen in soy, and all these alpha male crazy things are like, you can't drink soy because it has estrogen and it makes you not alpha. You're a beta.
Like, talk about a level of toxic masculinity where you're like, you can't eat fruits or vegetables anymore. All you get is meat and dairy. Because that's according to this how to be an alpha male. That's how you become an alpha. And I've been wanting to talk to you guys about my status of the alpha male of this podcast.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
out of the two males, it makes sense that you would be more alpha than Cordell.
Yeah, I don't have mutton chops, so no. No, I don't. That was completely, for all the listeners at home, this is completely a joke, and I
We're
as a
memeing.
person, am memeing and think Olivia and I will spend like at least 10 minutes a week laughing at like people that are like trying to be alpha male stuff. It's very fun.
I feel like the only reason we haven't talked about Andrew Tate yet is because everybody's been talking about Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I still don't know who he is, and at this point I don't care.
Yeah.
That's like
all you need to
my
know is
stance
he's
on a lot of problematic things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That tracks. Yeah, my stance on a lot of really problematic things is I just kind of have this philosophy of like, you know, I could learn why this is problematic, or I could just not care and not go on with my life and not give this hyper problematic person attention.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a pretty healthy way to think.
I think that's a very healthy way. But do you want your ears to be broken?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the end of the episode. No, I'm kidding. So my topic today, just to jump right into it, is Black Midi. Now, Caleb, how much do you know about Black Midi? How much have I told you about Black Midi?
So, not too much, and like the stuff I know about it is like I know very minimal about it. Like I know that it's this idea of like it's kind of maximalist music.
Yes, yeah.
Like do as much as you can.
Yeah.
But that's really all I know about it.
Okay, yes. I first learned about this, to give credit where credit is due. Many years ago, there was a YouTube channel. I think they're still around. They just don't make the same types of things anymore, but it was called This Exists. And I'm trying to remember. Sam Sutherland is the guy who did it. It looks like, looking on YouTube right now, he has shifted to it just being like him instead of This Exists. But the whole idea of This Exists was it would talk about weird shit on the internet. That's like, okay, why? What's going on? They talked about like math rock and like the crazier side of math rock. But one of the first episodes I ever saw was Black Midi. And yet, and you said it, you said it very accurately about its maximalist music.
Mhm.
People that make Black Midi, also, just to say, because this is a weird little thing, they call themselves
Yeah.
blackers. Like I've been doing more research into Black Midi today, and I'm looking at the Wikipedia, but I did send you a couple of songs. I sent
Yes.
them in specific order because they increase in note volume. So like the whole idea of Black Midi is to have as many notes as possible, so that like the sheet music, this is all mostly done digitally, so there's not really like sheet music, but the sheet music is just completely blurred out. The first one I sent you was a remix of Billie Eilish's Bad Guy, and that had a total of 152,000 notes.
Yes. And it did not blow up my speakers.
It didn't?
It did not. That
Okay,
one did
surprisingly. Then we got Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a huge jump to 2.06 million notes.
not. Yeah, that one almost did it.
And then the third one I sent is one of the largest Black Midis that exist. There are 3, but this is the only one that I could find video proof of, because the other ones break everything. And it's because it has the maximum amount of numbers that some of these different programs allow, which is 93 trillion notes.
So that one, as I was listening in my car on the way back to my house, stopped playing through the speakers at certain point. Just like did not play.
It
like
just
my computer, like
overwhelmed.
just overwhelmed. The car speakers were like, we don't have to anymore.
I'm tired. Got around a
I'm
million
tired.
notes and was like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
We're done.
The craziest thing, especially with that one with 93, is called Armageddon V3. And the crazy thing about that one is it's 1 minute and 59 seconds.
Yeah, it's short, but it like
they put that many notes in a 2-minute song.
I'll be honest. Like I love all kinds of music. There is nothing I love more than weird out there music.
Yeah. Same.
That last one, was it 1 minute 59 seconds? Yes. Did it feel like an eternity as I sat at a red light? Yes.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It's crazy. You want me to tell you about the origins a little bit then?
I really do want to know that.
Okay. So there's not a specific origin. Nobody knows the exact original origin. There's multiple places where there's this iteration of Black Midi is very much inspired by the music from Toho Project. Do you know what the Toho Project is?
I do not.
It is I think Toho Project is a company. No. Toho Project itself is a series of video games, and they're bullet hell video games.
Okay, yeah.
So the music they're from Japan as well. So they are all very much if you know about Japanese bullet hells, they are actual bullet hells. So like
Yeah.
there's bullets all over the screen. You're like barely getting in between them. There's like insane music in the background. So like the music, the first one that was in the first of these tracks of Black Midi tracks, at least in, well, no, this is the first one. To reach a million notes was Necrophantasia, which is from Toho Project. So that's the first like original what we know now as Black Midi. That apparently that was arranged by the Trusted Computer, which has been he's a big name in the scene. But there's also like kind of small, maybe like inspired stuff. Like there was this guy Conlon non nan. I'm gonna start that over. Conlon Noncaro. And you know those like piano rolls. He like altered a bunch. He like punched holes in them and created like more complex compositions with the piano roll that seemed like the way it was doing it, that it was like impossible to actually play. It was you could only get it from that piano roll, which is kind of the idea of Black Midi as well. It's like impossible to actually play 93 trillion notes in 2 minutes, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Which that also led me down, which I also sent Caleb this, but Frank Zappa created a just like a dense and extremely just difficult composition called The Black Page, which was originally supposed to be just a drum solo. Did you know that?
Interesting. No, I did. Like, I am like a tangential fan of Frank Zappa.
Fair.
Like, I've listened to his music and stuff, but I don't like, he's not the kind of artist that I've like really studied and know a ton about.
That's very fair. I haven't listened to a lot of Zappa, and the only time I have like actively listened to him was today and listening to The Black Page. And I also listened to Bobby Brown Goes Down, which is just a very silly, funny song, which I'd probably need to look into it more because it's Zappa, so there might be some deep undertones I don't know about. Or it could just be about a guy having gay sex with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the version I sent to Caleb and the version I listened to of The Black Page was the like new age version, and it's very good. It's very cool. But yeah, the Black Midi kind of started getting more popular outside of Japan when people started making pop remixes, like what I sent Caleb, like The Bad Guy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's just really interesting. The term obviously, I think I already said that. Never mind. Blah 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 blah. The weird thing is that there is no like known origin to like Black Midi.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of music, you can trace an origin back like pretty easily, even if people don't agree on the exact origin, you know? So that's interesting to me that there's no real like known origin.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of discussed, but like I think it was specifically the Trusted Computer was like, it has to have a digital like origin, so they don't even think the piano roll, they're like, at least Trusted Computer is like, that isn't what inspired this, like this is just yeah.
Like that sounds like a cool story and like it would be really cool, but I don't know if I would put that as the origin.
Yeah. It's crazy. They like, it started out just being like, I don't even remember seeing old videos of Black Midi, but the only ones I've seen have like, they like the entire video freezes at random times because of how many notes there are. but they also
Yeah.
like they colorize the different notes and like make patterns out of them. So it's a very like
Yeah.
it's almost. I'm probably gonna drop a link to one of the videos for the in the tweet because it is a visually stunning thing as well. But also
Yeah.
like be careful with your ears.
Yeah, it is very visually. I almost think you cannot just listen to the music. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's intended, and I don't think that's what serves the music best. I think you need the visual element of. I mean, you said that,
Yeah.
one of the possible origins is from like Japanese bullet hell. I think this
Yeah.
is the, like, especially Armageddon. It is Japanese bullet hell. It punches you on all times, goes on all cylinders constantly, and you don't get a break, and visually it delivers on that as well.
Yeah. It's crazy. But I
It
also
really is.
just a small little sidebar as well. This also made me think about just songs that are impossible. Like songs
Yeah.
that can't be actively played. Um and so I have a few just random songs that used to be thought that they couldn't be played. So they have nothing to do with Black Midi other than people were like we can't do this.
Yeah.
The most interesting one for me that I found was a song by Wagner. What's his first name? Richard Wagner.
Wagner.
Wagner. Thank you. I don't speak anything other than English, so my brain was not working. But his Tristan und Isolde. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But
It's
a very famous
Wag-
song.
Wagner's intense. All of his stuff is.
All of his shit is intense. This one specifically, I think the big issue was it was part of a opera. Yeah, its premiere was at the Vene Corta Opera. But the like in the rehearsals, the part of like the tenor was like couldn't sing it. He was like, I can't do this. After the little
Yeah.
matter of 77 rehearsals, he was like, this part is no one can sing this. Like this is insane.
Yeah.
Turns out it was very much singable. And in I think all of this according to this website was 1959, and then in 1859, and in 1865 a different conductor brought it about, and with a new tenor named Ludwig Sonor von Karlsfeld. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but yeah, he got up and he actually did it, and it was actually very singable. I was listening to the actual song earlier, and it seems very chill from my also listening to Black Midi.
Yeah. I think a lot of like opera, which I this is just a little fun aside because now like opera's a thing.
Yeah.
I've been in one opera in my years, and I played a mute character that was just on stage the whole time reacting.
Okay.
And it was a 3-person opera, and so I was the comedic relief, and it was a blast. Anyway,
That sounds incredible.
oh yeah, it was very fun. But opera, I feel like your local opera scene, if you have one, like Little Rock Opera, Fayetteville Opera, those are going to be amazing. They're going to be fun. The people are going to be super kind. As soon as you get into like professional opera, the people I've met that do professional opera are all douchebags that that basically are kind of like the type of people that are like, well, if I can't sing it, nobody can. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So it makes sense that, oh, excuse me, that First Boyo
very
was a
much so.
dicko about it.
Very much so. And like I feel like definitely it's also one of those things of like that opera singer was probably also very established at his time to be working with Wagner.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that part of it was also him being like, well, I'm the best that there is. So let me tell you, this is impossible.
Yeah. I'm so smart. I know this is impossible. Haha, you idiot. I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a song.
Send
We don't have to
me.
listen to it, but it's an impossible song, air quotes,
Yeah.
that I listened to all the time in high school. That is known as the
Ooh.
Death Waltz. And this is like the closest thing I think before Black Midi that I listened to.
So the
Um,
funny thing about that is I was not I like looked at it and I was like, wait a second. Like right now, the one you sent me, I was like, wait, that looks really familiar. And then I went back to the Black Midi Wikipedia page, and
uh-huh.
Black Midi was first employed in you rendition of UN. Owen was her. I can't pronounce his name, so I
Yes.
just said his last name.
Yeah, and this
Yuki.
is this is I think a rendition of that. UN Owen has won her is incredibly hard. It is possible to play though. I
Yes.
think you need two people, but it is possible.
Yeah. Black midis are like you're playing probably 21 plus notes at the same time.
Yeah.
But this, yeah. Also, this is relatively slow compared to Black Midi,
Yes, it is.
which is still good because I think I like it slower. I think if you just slow down Black Midi a tiny bit, I might enjoy it a lot more. But that also,
Yeah.
well, we
That I was about to say, but that like I agree with you, but that also kind of takes away from the point of it being like very fast and abrasive.
exactly, yeah, and like the apparently a lot of like people that make Black Midi slow down the tempo and then speed it up anyway. So it's like they probably have listened to it slow and it's like, okay, yeah, this isn't as bumping as it
Yeah.
120 beats a second.
Yeah. And I think that no, I definitely agree with you. Like I think if you did slow it down, it would lose the value, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, that's really it. Black Midi's crazy. I'm going to be dropping some of it with the tweet.
Yeah. I'm curious if do you think Black Midi's related at all? You know the practice of like you take a MP3
Mm-hmm.
and then export it as a MIDI file and then re-import it from the MIDI file into like a MIDI reading thing.
Yeah.
So you get like a MIDI file impersonating human speech.
Oh, yeah.
I
That
wonder if that has something to do with it.
I think so, because the idea of that is like using multiple notes at the same time. That's like kind of like the chords are making the voice. So that feels like that
Yeah.
could easily be part of Black Midi or like have some connection to it because it is like banging a piano basically, and it's making these like human vocal sounds.
Yeah. Which is also really interesting because like we talked about it last week of like the idea of music is math.
Yeah.
That's part of the proof that music is math is that you can quantify human speech and its patterns to notes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
boil it down to these are the exact waveforms you are using.
It's it's crazy to think about, but it's also really cool.
Well, and it's something like really well because edit Nat Wonderful as well as Junk House.
Yeah.
You stare at our waveforms weekly.
Yeah.
For hours at a time. So like, I think you of all people know what that looks like, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy because like you've edited with me or like been in the editing room with me before. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's very interesting because at some point you're just like, okay, I know I don't want an here, but without even listening, I can see that there is an because I recognize that waveform of what
Yeah.
that looks like.
Or like and this is kind of a little bit like not making fun of Cordell, but it's something I think Cordell knows he does is like, I'm pretty sure you know Cordell's cough.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like
Cordell's
Cordell
cough.
will, like,
Drew has this little like laugh, but it's far away from the mic and it's just a snort. So for Nat Wonderful, I take that out because it's just like it's just like really in the background.
Yeah. And like, I don't know what I do. I don't know if I want to know what I do, but
Do you want me to tell you the honest to God truth?
yeah.
You really don't do anything that needs to be edited out.
Heck yeah.
Especially with, I think the big thing is you also have a much higher quality mic than other people, especially in Nat Wonderful. So it's like, it's a lot easier to cut out. Yeah. You were like, I'm going to do more than just Nat Wonderful, so I need to have a better mic.
Yeah. As soon as it was like, I think Cordell's setup for where he is like somehow like awesome with the mic he has. Like,
yeah.
Every time I listen to it, I'm like, how did I have the exact same setup that you did, and yet mine sounded like garbage compared to yours?
Well, I think it's because we're just going really behind baseball, and that's okay. I started editing everything with Audition, not Audacity. We use Audacity to record.
Adobe Audition.
Adobe Audition is what I originally used to edit, and I was just like, I like had a friend kind of help me, but I didn't really understand, and then like I just moved. Now I'm using Ableton, which is like surprisingly for me a lot better, and it was a lot easier to make like presets and stuff. So I like nowadays it's probably more of the editing than your setup is what I'm trying than your original setup is what I'm getting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but no, I remember when I got this mic, I'm still very happy with it.
Yeah, it's literally my mic's younger sibling, so it's like it's perfect.
Yeah, it's almost I'm like behind baseball. I'm debating buying another one because my fiance always jokes about us having a podcast, and so I'm like, that might be worth it.
Whenever we were talking about trying to find another host, I was going to ask if we wanted to get Olivia, but with one mic, I was like, that might be way harder on me to edit. So I'm kind of okay with it just being us in this episode.
And I will say this for the audience: Olivia will be on at some point because like I am marrying somebody who is far funnier than me and far smarter than me 100% of the time.
I feel like you guys are equally funny. I feel like you are the person to not think of yourself as funny. So I personally think you are both equally funny.
Yeah,
you play off each other very well is the best way to say it, I think. As an outsider, not you saying it. You guys play off each other's comedy really well. And I think you're both funny in your own ways. That just works really well together.
Yeah. I would agree with you that I think we play off each other very well. I also agree with you that I don't think I'm very funny. Like, I've never found myself a funny individual. I just vibe and say shit, and sometimes people laugh, and that's it.
I was laughing at you saying that because I find you very funny, and I think I just think you are very funny. So, yeah.
I
take that, Caleb.
That. I appreciate it because, like, I feel like I kind of had to. I feel like my comedy is kind of a blend of a lot of things, and so it just kind of comes out. Yeah, it's just no one's comedy is original. It's all variants of something you've heard before.
Exactly.
And I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, you can listen to my comedy and somebody will be like, you sound like you're just doing a McElroy thing. I probably am subconsciously doing a McElroy thing.
Does that mean it's not funny?
Like,
no, it means it's
no.
probably still really funny.
Speaking of things I reference subconsciously constantly.
Before you get to that.
Yeah.
We read reviews and they're really bad, so guess the movie.
I fucking love this bit.
It's really fun.
It's really fun. Oh my God.
This one, I honestly do not know if you've seen it. But due to the popularity of the movie and the theme we are talking about today being music, I assumed it's a movie I really like and it's right up your alley if you haven't seen it. But I'm assuming you have. We'll probably read a couple. Because I forgot to set this up before the podcast, so I'm trying.
You have no idea. I was literally sitting here Googling like weird celebrity tweets trying to find something. So like,
yeah. So like, I'm kind of looking through the reviews while I'm doing this, but we'll just read the first one. Okay. 5-star review by Jester's Puzzle. I must have watched a different movie than everyone else on here because I got absolutely nothing out of this. Quote, the funniest movie in the world got nothing more than a slight exhale of air during one joke and absolute boredom for everything else out of me. So I really, does that give you anything? Because now that I've read that, I'm realizing not really.
I want to guess, is this is Spinal Tap?
It is. Correct.
Yes. Yeah. I love this movie.
See, I assumed you had seen it, but I wanted to preface it just in case you hadn't.
As soon as you were like, oh, well, it kind of has to do with what we're talking about today, I was like, okay, it's going to be a music movie. And my first thought was she's going to talk about Whiplash.
I haven't seen Whiplash.
Whiplash is very good.
I've heard it's amazing.
But then as soon as you were like, funniest movie in the world, it's like Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Did you know there's actually like a Spinal Tap like album? Like they came back in the 2000s and made a full album. Oh,
we have to have an entire episode where we just talk about the movie and the album now because I didn't know that was a thing.
I would highly suggest looking up the song also for the listeners at home. Short and Sweet by Spinal Tap featuring Steve Vai and what's his name? White fuckboy guitar player.
Oh,
I'm
God damn
Google white boy guitar player, and it's probably gonna pop up.
This is incorrect. I know this is incorrect, but my brain just keeps on saying Zac Efron. I'm getting stuck on the fuckboy.
It's like a John Mayer.
John Mayer. Thank you. God damn it.
Yeah.
I could envision him.
That's the other one.
Because I can see the hat and the guitar.
Which, like, I'll be honest, I like John Mayer. His music is good. He's a fuckboy.
He's a fuckboy.
100%. Yeah. Oh my gosh, no, I love Spinal Tap. So
then one more review because I think you'll find this funny. It's 2 words, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
5-star review by Alex HG. Big trash.
Big Trash, it was my nickname in high school. Oh my gosh. All right.
But this one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11. Well, why not make just 10,
just 10 a little
higher?
Bit higher, you know?
This one goes to 11. No, actually, a fun fact. My uncle builds cigar box guitars and builds cigar box amps as kind of a hobby.
Yeah.
And he made me a cigar box amp, and he actually would burn to like the numerals on the volume thing up to 11 for me. Like
that's so cool.
Like I fucking it's so good.
Do you still have it?
I love it. Somewhere. I will find it and send a picture so we can tweet that out. But
Or you can just show me in person when I see you in a couple
Right?
months.
yeah, because you're gonna come to my house because I'm getting married.
Yeah.
You want to hear about goats?
I do. I wrote down.
Okay.
Okay, so just so you know what I did, Caleb
Yeah.
sent me 5 songs. This is about the
Yes.
Mountain Goats, the band The Mountain Goats.
Yes,
I ranked
one of my
them
favorite bands.
of
Okay.
the ones you sent, and then I only wrote a little bit about 3 of them because they inspired me to write a tiny, just a note. So do with that what you
Beautiful.
will.
So the 5 songs that I sent Sammy, which if you want to listen to them, listeners, feel free to.
They're
'cause
all very good.
They're all very good, and I sent 5 that kind of go through what I feel is their eras.
Yeah.
And I sent them a little bit out of order. So
Yeah.
yeah. Their first era is kind of like their very early years, which is from like 91 to 94.
Okay.
So the song I sent for that era was one called Grendel's Mother, which
Okay.
is also Olivia's favorite song by them.
She might hate me.
Yeah. Oh no.
Well,
okay.
to be clear, I liked all of the songs. She might
Yeah.
not like where I put it in my ranking.
Oh, that's fair. Then you kind of have another era that I just skipped, which is the 95 to 2000 era, because I think that era is kind of like he recorded everything on a boombox, and some people have very much fondness for that era.
Yeah.
I don't,
Fair.
and I think it's a little bit more.
Can you tell it was recorded on a boombox type beat?
You can, and it was this era where like John Darnielle, who is the lead singer and songwriter and guitar player for the Mountain Goats, was kind of like he kind of decided starting in 96 that he didn't want to be known as a swearer, and so he just kind of like cleaned up a lot. And as some people are like, yeah, and that's what makes it fun, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like that part.
Yeah, I mean, which is fair.
Yeah, it's just not my style. The next era is the 01 to 03 era, which is where we get All Hail West Texas and Tallahassee as the 2 albums.
Okay.
With the best ever death metal band out of Denton.
Yeah.
Being the thing I picked for that. 04 to 09, I actually sent 2 songs, I believe.
Okay.
No, I just sent one.
Okay.
Dance music.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Yes.
Dance music off of Sunset Tree, which is semi-autobiographical. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's very good. And that era is kind of my favorite. That's my second favorite. Then you've got 2010 to the present, which is the current era, which I sent 2 songs. One off of the album Beat the Champ.
Yes.
Heel Turn 2, which is a banger and a half. And I love it. And then off the latest album, which came out as we're recording, the album came out yesterday. As you're listening to this, if you listen on the day we release, the album came out a week ago. Training Montage is the song off of the album Bleed Out.
Yeah.
I love the Mountain Goats a lot. And I found them through my stepsister, Sophie Fuller.
Okay.
And
I guess I didn't know
I
didn't know they were your stepsister.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. When my parents divorced, a few years later, her parents divorced, and then Jason met my mom, and then
And
they
the
just got
rest
married,
is
and it's very good.
history.
The rest is history. So I first found them because Sophie showed me this song by them that I didn't send to you. It is one of their most popular songs though, called This Year.
Okay.
Which I think is very good. It's not my favorite though. But the chorus is this refrain of I'm gonna make it through this year if it kills me.
Okay.
And then it ends with this exultation of like there will be feasting and dancing in Jerusalem next year, which if you're in touch with the history of Judaism, you know that's a common like thing that they say yearly is like there's going to be feasting and dancing in Jerusalem next year, and they say that every year
Yeah, just like pushing
because
it back one more year.
just keep pushing it back because they're like, you know what, it's going to happen eventually, and sometime we're going to be right.
Yeah, at some point.
At some point. So I want to hear what you thought about the song.
Okay. Do you want me to do the ranking first?
Yeah, give me the ranking because I might actually agree with you.
Okay. So I'm going to do the classic thing where I start at number 5 and go to my favorite. So the first, number 5, I put the best ever death metal band in Denton.
Okay. Wow.
I really liked it, but it got a little bit too repetitive for me.
I would, yeah.
And
okay.
I don't know, that I remember you talking about like, or I remember hearing you sing the like Hail Satan part. And then like hearing it in the song, for some reason, I was like, this isn't as cool as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's one of those songs that live is the best experience because then you have a room full of people screaming these lyrics, you know?
When I finished listening to that, I remembered the time where I like went out to dinner with you and friends before you guys went to the Mountain Goats concert.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
Hearing the best ever is probably amazing. If he sang it that night, it was probably fucking amazing. But right now it's kind of just like
oh yeah. I think I've seen them live twice now, and they've done it both times. So.
Fair. It seems like a very popular song of theirs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The next one is where Olivia might kill me. Number 4 is Grendel's Mother.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly why. I guess it didn't really leave me with a lot. Is probably why it's at number 4.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something? No, fair.
No. It's a good song.
The next 3, I have small notes for each of them. I listened to them in the order that you sent me them. I don't think it was.
Yes, that's what I was hoping. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Good. And then I like to rank them. I moved the like tabs in the order.
Yes.
But yeah. Okay. So number 3, I put Training Montage.
Okay.
I guess it kind of like, since this was the newest one, it kind of left me underwhelmed, I think, because this was the last one I had listened to. But what I wrote down for it were that it gave me some They Might Be Giants vibes. It felt like a They Might Be Giants song.
I can see. Yeah, I can see that.
Specifically, it conjured thoughts of Birdhouse in Your Soul.
Interesting.
The guitar and like kind of more the instruments than I think his voice kind of sounded like the other. They're both named John, right? The leader of They Might Be Giants.
The 2 main members of They Might Be Giants are John Linnell and John Flansburgh.
Okay.
And then Mountain Goats is John Darnielle.
Yeah, so there's
I used to actually have a playlist called 3 Guys Named John, which was just They Might Be Giants and the Mountain Goats.
Okay, well, make it again and let me listen to it because that actually sounds great.
Yeah.
The training montage making me think of They Might Be Giants made me go down a little rabbit hole about John Linnell and his like fucking Roman songs.
Yes.
Which that's crazy. If you don't know about that, we're not going to talk about it a long time. I'll just tell you that it's an album where every song is in Latin.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Number two ranking. Dance music.
Okay, yeah. I love dance music is one of my favorites.
It's very good. Here's what I wrote down. Reminds me of Weird Al.
Yes.
Specifically Albuquerque.
Yes, I can very much dig those vibes.
Yeah. It was very good.
I'm curious how you felt about the lyrics for dance music, because they are dark.
I don't remember them specifically, honestly. So I might have just been like jamming and not paying attention. Whenever I listen to music, the weird thing is I don't get deep into the lyrics or anything until maybe my second or third listen. The first time I'm just like, yay, this is fun.
Oh yeah. And I think that's kind of the beauty of dance music is when you're just listening to it, you're like, oh, this is really fun and happy. And then you hear lyrics like about like his stepfather throwing a glass at his mother's head and he runs upstairs to turn up dance music so he doesn't have to hear the violence. Like,
oh.
Yeah, like it's so that's the beauty of it, and it's so fun.
Yeah, it's the classic of like it just being happy, and then you're like, oh, it's not happy. Oh God,
it's not very happy. This isn't good.
Well, I guess that brings us to number 1, and it seems like you already know what it is.
Heel Turn 2.
Heel Turn 2.
I number 1, Miranda's gonna agree with you.
Okay, good.
I think on that ranking. I adore Heel Turn 2.
And really quick, I read this in the comments. I have something to talk about from the comments as well. But is this album like what somebody said in the comments is that this was a concept album all about a pro wrestler.
All about pro wrestling.
That's so cool. I fucking love that.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of the albums are concept albums.
Okay, fair.
So like brief summation, there is a album in 2017 called Goths.
Okay.
Goths is literally John Darnielle writing about the concept of the album is current people that used to be in the 80s goth scene reflecting on how that impacted their life.
Okay. I really
so you have
like that.
a song that I really adore called Paid in Cocaine, where it's somebody that's like, he's like, I used to sell drugs for a living and now I'm paying down a mortgage on my house that I can barely afford.
Damn. That, yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the kind of vibes. Or like In League with Dragons is about like using D&D as an escape fantasy.
So I really need to listen to that.
Yeah, like there are so many good albums.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are very conceptual.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What I wrote down though was I love how like full the music was with like meaning and music.
Mm-hmm.
I also wrote down to tell you about this comment because somebody said my interpretation is that this is the perspective of Hulk Hogan. He turned from the ultimate superhero to the ultimate villain to restart his career. But he also became a maniacal backstage politician and destroyed a lot of careers.
I have not thought about that.
They go more in depth, and I can read that. It's a little bit longer if you want. But we can continue whatever you want to do, baby.
I was actually going to tell you some history
about do it.
The song Heel Turn 2
do it.
Specifically. So, first of all, I do have the lyrics pulled up because I do want to highlight some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
But if you are a podcast fan, which I feel like if you're listening to this podcast,
you probably are.
You may be familiar with the show Welcome to Night Vale.
Yes.
In episode 63 of Welcome to Night Vale, Heel Turn 2 was featured as The Weather.
Okay.
Which The Weather in Night that was the debut of the song and how John Darnielle announced the album.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners what The Weather is, just in case.
So The Weather, at some point in an episode of Welcome to Night Vale, the host, the main person will say, and now The Weather. And then some song will start playing.
Yeah.
And it's actually how I've like discovered a lot of artists that I really like is through The Weather. So like,
that's so cool.
Genuinely just find like The Weather playlist and you'll be good. a little bit more, like some of the lyrics I really want to highlight is like there is a refrain of "I don't want to die in here" a lot in the song,
Yeah.
and I very much love that. But there is a 4-line thing that the first time I heard this song, this is what made me cry. And then it punches you with a piano solo at the end that really drives it home. Yep, Sammy's making the face of every Mountain Goats fan when you mentioned the piano solo in Heel Turn
Yeah.
2. But it's drift down into the new dark light without any reservation. You found my breaking point. Congratulations. That 4 lines broke
You
me.
found my breaking point. And he says congratulations so sarcastically and like,
Yeah.
congratulations. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
It's
And
so good.
I'm going to read a quote from John Darnielle, who is the writer of the song.
Yeah.
About Heel Turn 2 and about the meaning of it. So, from the writer itself, and which is why I think this is actually the Hulk Hogan perspective may not be far off.
Yeah.
Once in a while, the good guy will be standing in the center of the ring, spotlight on him, taking punch after punch after punch, weak in his knees, wobbling. You think he can't take another punch, but he can. You think he's gonna fail, but he's not. There's too much power in the hero, in the good guy. He's gonna die in there. And then suddenly he reaches down inside his being and says, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do what's wrong. I'm gonna change for the worse.
He's gonna do a heel turn.
He's gonna do a heel turn.
That's so
And there is
cool and cool.
It's so good. And like there is some really good stuff in there, obviously, but like also there is catharsis in being bad.
Yeah.
And this song very much captures that catharsis. And then the piano solo is the realization that you did something bad.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely fucking beautiful. I just adore the song. So you ranking it number 1, it was like perfect.
Yeah. It's
and
so
that's
good.
not to say the other, like I could probably talk about all these songs on that level.
Oh, yeah.
And I just this band is one of those bands that if there is something going on with them, I'm invested.
Yeah.
Because everything they do, I love it.
Yeah. One of your shirts that I always see you wear is a Mountain Goat shirt.
Yes, I have 2 Mountain Goat shirts. I have a Mountain Goat. No, I have 3 Mountain Goat shirts now. A Mountain Goat's hat. Olivia for my birthday got me the new album on a pre-order special, so I got like a special pressing on vinyl.
Ooh, okay.
And it came with a poster that's going to go up in the office. Like
hell yes.
So to be mushy for a second.
Be mushy. Be as mushy as you want, baby. Sorry.
So, no, you're good. And to be kind of serious with the listeners, I've struggled with anxiety and depression my whole life. And music has always been an escape for me. And the Mountain Goats, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say they've saved my life several times.
Yeah.
And the gushy part, one of the first realizations I had when I was like, Olivia is a cool person that I want to spend my life with, is when she said that she liked the Mountain Goats and that her favorite song was one that I had never even heard of, Grendel's Mother.
You learn about Grendel's Mother through Olivia?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
And I think I lied to her at that point and said, yeah, I love that song. And then I went to my car and listened to it. And It is a beautiful song, and it's about like in the story Beowulf, which is one of Olivia's favorite things.
Yeah.
About like Grendel's mother showing up to the hall and being showing up to take Beowulf and being like, "You murdered my kid.
Yeah.
I am taking you, or I am taking my son back. It's your choice."
In my teeth, I'm going to be taking you
In my
or
teeth,
my
yeah.
son.
In my teeth, I'm taking you home. And
damn.
Yeah. So all that to say, the Mountain Goats has a very wide fan base, and a lot of that is former religious people that are kind of fed up with religion but still want to seek that feeling again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This was the first time I had ever really listened to them. I listened to dance music, I think, before this, but that was about it.
Mm-hmm. Sammy, for you, I definitely recommend. There are 2 albums that Miranda, if you're listening to this, do not warn Sammy because I'm about to. These 2 albums notoriously make people cry.
Okay.
And it is The Life of the World to Come.
Okay.
And We Shall All Be Healed.
Okay.
It is. They're very powerful songs.
Their albums are their songs.
The albums.
Okay, their albums.
Yeah,
okay,
the
okay,
albums.
okay.
Sorry.
No. I think you said albums
album.
the first time, but my brain shut off. Okay.
Possibly. We Shall All Be Healed is kind of the first non-lo-fi album.
Okay.
And then The Life of the World to Come, actually all the song names are like Bible verses. So fun stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Genesis 33 and 1 John 4:16.
Yeah.
Like
Ezekiel 7 and the permanent Yep. Pretend like I said that song title right. Ezekiel 7 and the permanent efficacy of grace.
Efficacy of grace. Yep. So, I love the Mountain Goats.
I do too now.
Good. I genuinely think the Mountain Goats are one of those bands that everyone can at least find one song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Daft Punk.
Yeah. Like Daft Punk.
My original topic today was going to be Daft Punk. But then I was like, I like them a lot, but I don't have time to research as much as I want to.
Yeah. Speaking of everyone can find one song, thank you to the one and only Reverend Horton Heat for letting us use their song Psychobilly Freak Out off the album Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em.
It's a great song. If you haven't listened to the whole thing, you should.
Yeah. You really should. It is very good if you're trying to pump yourself up for something. It is very good for that. Do you know where I found that song?
No.
Fun fact. Guitar Hero 3.
Oh my God. I mean, fair.
That is where it was like one of the songs in like the Tom Morello block of like weird, crazy music before you fight Tom Morello in a guitar battle. And I've loved it ever since I was that age.
Yeah.
So thank you to the one and only Reverend Horton Heat for letting us use that song. If you want to follow us on Twitter,
you can do that at Junk House, but the Owen House is a 0.
And if you want to email us, it's at junkhousemailbox@gmail.com. If you want to leave a review on Apple or a thumbs up on Spotify, feel free to do so. We really appreciate that. If you have any complaints at the show, tweet directly at Mitt Romney.
Yeah, right at Mitt
on
Romney.
Twitter.
Or you could also tweet directly at Steven Crowder. There's a lot of those random people that you can just,
Yeah, and we'll get it eventually.
At some point. So, they'll talk about it on Steven will talk about it on his show, and then we'll be like, see, that was us.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll talk about it on their show, and then we'll watch somebody else react to that, and then we'll get
Probably
it. So,
Hassan.
Probably Hassan, yeah. I'll be honest, yeah.
He's hot.
Yeah.
But I guess as we say every week, I miss Dad.
I miss Dad, but do you want to go do drugs together
In his room
in his room?
and shit on his bed like Amber Heard?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's a psychobilly freakout!